Hi, this is Kelly from paperbeadrollers.com, and in today's video we're going to combine two crafts that I love: paper bead rolling, of course, and crochet. I got this pattern from Nadia at Yarnitopia. She has a channel on YouTube and I'll link it in the description for you. This is actually a granny square tutorial, and her original pattern is much larger than this, but as I was building them I thought this would make a really cute hairpiece for a little girl, a barrette or a ponytail holder, and then you could combine it with some paper beads to create just a gorgeous little craft. So that's what I decided to do. So I am not the most experienced crocheter. I learned to crochet when I was in maybe the second grade. My grandmother taught me, but I haven't used it since then until I picked it up maybe a year ago. And just started getting comfortable with it again. So if you are a new crocheter and you need a expansive tutorial, or you would like to see the rest of this pattern, I'm going to link the original video down below in the description, and you can go take a look at Nadia, because this is her pattern that she created herself. And you can watch her original video for a great tutorial on how to create the crocheted flower. I will do my best with this crochet tutorial. Let's get started. Here are the tools and supplies you'll need for this project. First, let's talk yarn. I used a basic yarn that I bought from Michael's. This is Impeccable's, an acrylic yarn that is about a medium weight 4. I've used heavier yarns with this pattern, and I feel like you could easily use lighter yarn as well and get a smaller flower. I used a 4.5mm crochet hook, and of course, you'll need some scissors. For the paper beads, I'm using several strips that are 1/4 inch wide and 11 inches long. As usual, this is 65-pound cardstock. I'm using the green-sized paper bead roller from paperbeadrollers.com, some glue, diamond glaze, and a paintbrush. To attach the paper beads to the flowers, I'll use this clear stretch string. I've also got some silver ball spacers. These are 4mm and are available along with other jewelry findings at paperbeadrollers.com. And I'm using a yarn needle, which is really just a big, thick metal needle. I went to the dollar store and bought a few different barrettes and some hair ties to attach to the flowers. As I said earlier, I am not the best at crochet, so I will go over how to make the flower. But if you want a better tutorial on this, be sure to visit the original Yarnitopia video linked in the description. Now the first thing to do is to make a knot to start your project. I loop the yarn around my fist, tuck the end under, and pull tight. For round 1, we will chain 4, and then turn this chain into a loop by slip stitching back into the first chain. Now chain up 3. We're going to double crochet into the loop. So yarn over, go into the loop, yarn over again, pull through 2, and pull through. Do that 10 more times until you have a total of 12 stitches for this round. Slip stitch to the first single crochet that you made. Then I'm going to cut my yarn and fasten off because it's time to switch colors. For round 2, I'm going to attach my blue yarn from the back of my work with a back post single crochet. So I put the hook through the back and pull through, and then chain up 1. Now that attaches us, but we're still going to do the single crochet around it. So go back through that same hole, yarn over, pull through. And we are going to chain 2 and do a back post single crochet on the next post. We'll do that for every post. The chain 2 creates the bottom of the petals. When you get to the end of round 2, chain 2 and slip stitch to the first single crochet that you made. Now let's do round 3 and create the petals. Chain 1, and we'll do a front post half double crochet around the first stitch. Yarn over, go into the chain 2 space to the right. Go around the post to the next chain 2 space. Yarn over, pull through, then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. Now we'll put 3 double crochets into the chain 2 space, and this is what forms your petal. Okay, and now we'll repeat that pattern. We'll front post half double crochet around this post to start the next petal. And you'll repeat this all the way around. When you get to the end of the round, slip stitch to the base of the first stitch, and you're finished. Cut your yarn and tie it off. Now remember, if you want a better tutorial on how to make this flower, check out the original tutorial from Yarnotopia linked in the description. I'll finish off this flower using my yarn needle to hide the tails. Now sometimes I'm able to work these in as I go, but here I'm just going to weave them back into my work and then cut off the extra. Now it's important that you weave them in because if you just cut them off without leaving a longer tail, chances are your work will unravel at some point. Now that the flowers are done, I'll make the paper beads. I'm going to use 1 strip for each bead. Now again, these are 1/4 inch wide, 11 inches long, and 65-pound cardstock. And I'm using the green size roller from paperbeadrollers.com. I'm going to roll this strip centered and it'll create a small saucer bead. Glue down the end, and there we are. I'll do this 2 more times, and then we'll glaze. Now I like to use Judikins diamond glaze. It makes the beads hard and water resistant. So if these hair pieces get dirty, they can be hand washed and laid out to dry. I'm putting the beads on toothpicks to hold them while I glaze and while they dry. I'll just brush on the glaze nice and smooth. Depending on humidity, diamond glaze only takes a few minutes to dry. So I'll do 1 more coat off camera and we'll be ready to put our hairpiece together. String on the first paper bead in a metal spacer. Put the string back down through the paper bead. Now if you need to, you can pull that first section of string tight around your finger so that it kind of flattens out and makes room for the second piece to pass through. Now knot the string under the paper bead to keep everything in place. Put on the second paper bead in a metal spacer. Again, run the string down through the paper bead a second time. Then, knot it tightly under the second paper bead. Now we'll do it again with the third set of beads. First the paper bead, then the metal spacer. Go back down through the paper bead And now we'll knot both ends of the string together and it'll create our bead cluster. I'll insert both of my string ends down into the center of the flower. Isn't that cute? We'll use the stretch string to attach the barrette. I put the longer end of string on my needle. Now you don't have to use a needle, but I find it to be easier. Make sure your barrette is facing the correct way. The top of the barrette should be against the yarn. Now there's no exact science to this. I'm just going to weave the string around each side of the barrette until I feel that it's securely tied to the flower. When you're satisfied, bring the string back to a point right next to the shorter string, and then I tie them off. Now I like to put a dab of glue on the knot to give it a little extra security. I'm just using school glue, but you can use something stronger if you like. And there you are, a beautiful handmade hairpiece. Now I've done a few variations on this using different sizes and colors of beads and different colors of yarn. Let your imagination go wild. Be sure to subscribe to my channel for more paper bead tutorials and join us over on Facebook in the Paper Bead Fanatics group so I can see what you're making. Happy rolling!